Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today we are playing with the lathe again. One of the reasons I purchased this was to be able to do things that I pay other places to do. And one of those things is polishing parts. I've got a camshaft that I'm going to need to polish. The last camshaft I had done cost me about 80 bucks. And I decided that, you know what, I can do this stuff myself. I've been trained in how to do it. It's been a long time since I've done one, but I didn't have any way to do it other than doing it by hand, which I've done when they're not too bad. But I've got a couple of cams here that are a bit rusty, and one of them is minor. It's the one for the 413, 426 project. It's really not rusty. It just needs a quick touch up. But I've got another one out of the 340 that is really rusty. Now, I'm missing a couple things to do this properly. So understand that today all I'm doing is figuring out setup and stuff like that to see exactly what it's going to take to be able to do this here in my car shop. So let's not talk about it. Let's get after it. I'm Mike.
This is My Car's Shop.
I had other plans for today. It wasn't supposed to rain. It was supposed to be nice. It's raining out. I can't even put the 47 out right now. Maybe I could, but regardless, I can't be working on the truck. But I do think, I've just thought about it, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to put the 47 back under the tent. It's not windy, and that'll be nice to not have this here. I'm always worried about scratching it. So let me get that out of here, and then we'll get after it. We had a high windstorm coming the other night, and I had that car out under the tent, and I just flew it in here to get it out of the storm. Yeah, because I was concerned about that tent coming up and smashing into the car and stuff. And so I didn't get in here very well. So I created myself a pickle because it was too tight over on this side and almost hitting the 413 there. But we're good. It's out. Nothing damaged. Just had to take my time. So that's part of being here, spending a day in the shop. Now, let me show you the camshafts that I'm dealing with, and then we'll talk about, like setup and all that stuff. So what I have here is the ISKI cam that's going to be for the 413, 426. And it's just got some, it just needs to be cleaned up and stuff like that. But that's not really the objective today. The objective for me today is to get that to stay where I want it to and stop being so dang annoying. There we go. The objective today is to take this old 340 cam. I don't care if I ruin it or not. I don't even know if it's any good. I don't care. I want to put that in the lathe and just get it centered up and get the lathe set up and just practice a little bit, get it cleaned up, and just play around with it a little bit and stuff like that. So one of the things I need to do is take the drill head out. So you just do that by backing it up all the way, and then it'll pull out. And then I want my center. We use this one. It's got a bearing in it. It'll be a nice center so it's not wearing on the part. And of course, just tighten it in. Doesn't really need to be in there by much. Just give it a little, just knock it a little is what I'm saying. So let's get the rusty cam. This cam has the, from the machining, it still has the pilot, whatever you want to call it, in there, turning it from the factory or wherever they made it. So we're going to stick this in the lathe like that. Let's snug her up. Good enough. Okay, she's in there. Tighten this down. Give her a little snoogie. Okay, it's pushing it in a little bit, which is fine, but that should work. All right, let's turn it on. I've also sped the lathe down a little bit. I geared it down one belt stop. That's spinning nicely now. I'm happy with that. One thing I didn't do was really clean this up, so I'm just going to hit it with a little super clean. Just to
take off a layer of the car gravy is what I'm saying.
also taking off some of the rust. You got to watch that. That's why you don't get your clothes, because like that gear caught that rag. still not used to that. The idea is to use the lightest grit possible and still get the job done. Using some 320 to start, which is really aggressive. And move on to some 400. Go on to some 600. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. I know that the way I'm doing this with sandpaper and not using the proper emery cloth and stuff like that can mess the cam up a little bit. Right now, all I'm concerned about is just proof of concept. Normally, I would use some emery paper. I might use it the way I was using that sandpaper at the last, or I might wrap it around and wrap some rope around it. Um, not as easy to do on the cam lobes, but on the bearings. So I'm going to go get some 1,000 grit now. We've gone up to 600, and I'm going to get some 1,000 grit and see. But I would be very comfortable with that right there. Now, the one thing that bothers me about this cam is it feels like we have some run out on that one end of the cam, and I'm not sure why. Definitely looks like it's now. It could be because my lathe is not the highest quality unit in the world, but I'll take you over here and show you what I mean. You see, we got a little bit of whoop 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 whoop. You see it kind of walking like this a little bit. That, I suspect that cam might be warped. It doesn't look right to me. It's been laying around forever, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was. I went through and set up my dial indicator on it, zeroed it out, and I'll show you what we got here. And then we're going to confirm this down the cam. We'll have to clean up a couple other journals to do this, but spin it slowly by hand. And my dial is not the best. So we got about 20 thousandths of run out. Thought it was a bit more than that. Make sure that we're tight. So that's not good. Now let's find out if it's out around this or if it's, I'm in the center right now, so I'm going to bring it back to this edge over here and see how it does there. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, so it could be that the cam is just out a little bit in the lathe itself. So we will see. So I'm going to get a marker and mark what I consider to be the high spot and the low spot in this cam on this lobe. Okay, put a little H there so it's high. And it seems to be our low spot right there-ish. Now I want to go over here and do the same thing to see if it's in the journal itself or if it's the whole cam doing this. All right, let's, looks like this dial of mine is not the best in the world, but it gives you the idea, you know. Okay, so yep, it's the whole cam. So either the cam is not exactly true in the lathe, because this is our low spot here. Again, same thing. And the high spot-ish. And when I spin it the other way, it goes wonky because of the way I have this set up on here, because it's not perfectly square. So that's on me. Let's spin it around again. So there's our low spot. And there's our high spot, which is about 18. So it is a little bit out, a couple thousandths out, if this can be trusted, which I'm not saying it can. Let's move down to the next one down here and see how it is. Okay, let's check it again. So this is zeroed here, and we are going to drop, actually this should be our high spot. Let's just assume it's going to be the same, because this is where the high mark is here. Well, we got issues, and I don't have any tissues. Okay, so let's bring it back up. So I made the assumption that it was going to be the same. The high spot would be here. And it is. Okay, it is. My bad, sorry. And then we have, but our low spot is not in the same spot. There's our low spot there on that one. This one is rolling backwards, and that's not good, but is right in there. So let's go all the way around again, mark our high spot, which is right there. I'm going to put it in the middle. I can't measure this in the middle because of the oil hole. So it's close, but it's not exactly the same. But I would contribute that to probably me being erroneous than anything. Okay, and our low spot is there. So how far off is that? You know, it's likely me, but our high and low is in the same spot, which is making me wonder, is this thing just doing this in the lathe? So the way to determine that is we'll loosen this cam up, we'll spin it, and see if the high and low spot comes back in exactly the same spot. I'm definitely seeing the same amount of wobble in it, but the question becomes, is this high and low spot in the same spot? So let's find out. Let's go back to this one again, get this set up. Trying to do a little better job of centering that on the cam. Okay, there we go. Oops. Okay, so that's our, it says it's our high spot there. Let's see if it is. So I'll make sure that we're not, that's showing even worse. So I kind of, well, no, what happened is, so what happened was the thing settled in as it was rolling around, I think. Yeah, it's got more. So there's where we should be-ish. That's showing like 30 now. So it's making me wonder if it's the setup of this thing in here. So let me do a couple things here and see what I determine. Just to show you. Clean that up a little bit here, and we still got some play. So I'm guessing this lathe is out a little bit. We won't know until we got about 10 thousandths here. So it's possible the cam is messed up. So in this case, I don't have enough experience here to be able to say, yes, the cam is good, no, the cam's not. I don't know how accurate this piece of equipment is. I don't know how accurate that piece of equipment is, to tell you the truth. I've had that for 30 years and I've only used it a bit. Um, so for polishing, none of this matters. But it was just, I saw it wobbling and I thought, well, let's go through the exercise. We'll throw another cam in here, probably not the one for the 413 yet, but we'll throw another cam in and see if we end up with similar results. I have some theories on why this is like this, but I don't have enough information. But let's go ahead and move forward and just polish a couple of cam lobes real quick just to see how they turn out. Not bad. It's got some pitting. Would I use this in a high performance engine? No. Would I use this in a daily that I was just throwing together for cheap? Absolutely. Now we know that this pitting here very likely would wipe out a lifter, but for throwing together for parts that I got laying around, if I had a set of lifters, I might attempt to use this cam. I mean, it's not bad considering here versus here, and I don't have any reason to. I have boxes of cams around. That does bother me a little bit there, and I don't know what the rest of it's like. But for proof of concept of being able to go through and polish a cam, if I had the right stuff to polish, it would work well. So I'm going to grab, let's see, I went up to 600 with this. I'm going to grab some 1,000 and just take it a little bit further. We'll bump the speed up a little bit more and we'll see what she looks like. Well, that was interesting. I didn't have any 1,000. I had some 800 and I had some 1,500. So I'm also running out of my Acumpucky here, which bothers me, but we'll just do this one journal here with the 8 and the 15. Oh yeah. I wanted to speed her up a little bit. So that's with 1,500. Went from 800 to 1,500. Didn't have anything in between, but not bad. A little mark in it right there. Not sure what that's from. That's pretty respectable, I would say. Still got a little bit of stuff on it, but so you can see what you can do. I'm going to find another cam. I've got a bunch of them around. I'm curious to see if I throw another cam in here, if I end up with the same out of roundness. Is the issue with the centering spot on the end of this cam, is this not the right profile for that? I'm only like 10 thousandths on this end, which means it might just not be centered perfectly in the chuck. But out here, it's 20 to 30 thousandths. So makes me wonder, you know what I'm saying? So let me go find another cam to throw in there real quick. This is a cam that I had in my Pro Street car. Nothing wrong with it at all. It's a perfectly good cam. I didn't understand valve train geometry back in the day, and I thought there was something wrong with the cam and lifters, and it turns out I needed longer push rods or adjustable rockers. So I bought another one. So this one is in really good shape. It's been kicking around for a long time, but if you can see, we only got about 4 thousandths of play in this, and I haven't even tried to center it up. So it's three, not even three, yeah, not even 3.5. So I think that other cam is warped. If I wanted to be 100% sure, I would take it in, but the cam's really no good anyway, so I wouldn't use it. As far as the cam lobes go, like I said, in a junk motor, I was just throwing a cam in, I'd use it. But as far as that warpage goes, if it was a really good cam, at that point, I would take it up to the machine shop and get them to check it. I'm guessing they would tell me that that cam is probably warped. Um, and I think we're verifying that with this cam. I have a couple others. I'm not going to bother going around and digging all of those up and playing with all of that. And I don't want to throw my 413 cam in here right now because I'm not sure I have the right jaw set up here on this end, and I don't want to muck up the bearing. So I've got to figure out a way to chuck that in there, probably machine myself up something that will thread into the end of that cam, because on the big block cam, there's no real place to grab onto, and I don't want to grab onto this bearing surface here. So we'll probably make ourselves something that'll thread into the end here. We can chuck that in. We'll put this in, normal, and we'll go from there. It'll probably be a little bit out of round, but I expect that to be. But this cam is brand new, and I think it's been well taken care of. So we'll go ahead and polish this one up ourselves. One of the things that I was curious about was whether or not I could do a 6-cylinder cam on this. I'm going to remove this again. I guess I kind of tightened it down. Needs about 27 inches. I don't know if it will or not. I'm guessing it won't. Nope, it won't. About the maximum cam we could do on here is 24, 25. So I can't get much back further than this, I don't think. Well, maybe. I'm pushing my luck because I'm way off the edge, but as long as it clamps, just for polishing it would work. Nah, boy, it would be nip and tuck. Maybe if I had a shallower center, something that came back. I'm not saying I wouldn't try it, but get back in here, and right there is about as far as I can go and still clamp it down. Boy, it would be tight. It'd be possible. The reason I'm thinking about that is because I don't have the old cam out of the Oakland, but we paid like $80 or $120 to get that cam polished. And so we might have been able to do that ourselves on here. I was just curious about that. Another thought that I have too, I have another thought on that cam also. I feel like it's warped. I really do. But as long as the bearings are concentric within themselves, it wouldn't be like doing this in there and wiping out cam bearings and stuff. So again, if that was a cam that was a good profile, it wasn't. I think that's just a stock 340 cam. Never even looked at it that close, tell you the truth. But yeah, it is. It's not stamped with anything. I'm almost positive this is the one I got from you, George, if you're watching. Came with that 340 that I swapped for that 455. So if it was a cam that was desirable, like that other one that I just put in there to double check the setup on the lathe that only had like 4 thousandths of run out on it, that I would believe is in this setup and just not me getting things perfectly centered. If it was that cam, that's a 292 508 lift, 292 duration, 508 lift, 108 degree lobe center. Cam is like new. It was hardly ever run. If that cam was doing that, I would definitely, if I wanted to use it, I would take that up to the machine shop and have them check it to be sure. At that point, we're talking, a cam that's those things run $300 now probably, so it would be worth spending. Even if I polished it myself, just having them check the cam for straightness would be worth it. So why did I do this today? Well, like I said, it's about 99.3% humidity out right now. It's about 90 degrees. I'm soaking wet. Couldn't paint. There's no way I could paint today. And I really didn't feel like working up the sweat that I know I was going to work up to sand anyway. We'll wait for a little better day. I did this today because it was fun. I really enjoyed doing this, and I enjoyed sharing it with you. And that's what it's all about. I want to share my enthusiasm. I want to share the things I'm excited about. I'm excited about having this lathe. First of all, this is probably the fourth time I've worked it in. But I was sitting in the house today going, okay, I can't paint. What's something I could do? And I thought, I need to be able to polish up that cam for the 413, 426 project. I bet I could do that on the lathe. And yeah, I don't have the right stuff to do it properly. I know that. Okay. I need to go get the proper crocus cloth and all the other stuff. And everybody's got a million opinions. And I know, Ed, I'd love to hear from you. I'm sure you're watching this. I'd love to hear from you on your thoughts on, what would be the best abrasives to use to polish a camshaft in a situation like this without obviously taking it into a machine shop or bringing it to you or whatever. Um, it's all about DIY, right? It's what the stuff that I can do at home. I mean, I used to do them at home by hand, one by one, and this makes life so much easier. Um, so it's about cleaning it up. It's got a little surface rust on it, and so doing it as least aggressively as possible. The 292 cam, I think I hit that with the 1500 just to polish that one journal up a little bit. So you want to use in my opinion, use the least aggressive abrasive possible to get the polish or the cleanup at least that you want. I mean, I'm not looking to make it look like a mirror, right? I'm just looking to clean it up. If I wanted it to look like a mirror, we'd take it over to the polishing wheel and polish it, which probably doesn't make any sense at all. We could bring the polishing wheel over here. Never mind. There are polishing wheels and buffering wheels and stuff. If I remember right, when they do the really super high polish, and that's not what I'm looking for here. Is my point. So, thanks for being here. I really, really appreciate it. I know some of you guys are going to have some things to weigh in. I know just Mopar Joe. I'm sure we'll have some thoughts on this too. As a matter of fact, I've already texted him about what I'm doing, so I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say. And we'll go from there. So thanks for watching, and I appreciate it. I hope you had fun today. We'll catch you on the next one. Oh, don't forget.
Rock!